The following portion of Daytime Tri-Cities is sponsored by AFI, your financial North Star. Well, good morning, everyone. We are live this morning here at AFI Advisors in Colonial Heights talking about some more lighthearted questions. We've hit all that serious stuff, talking about taxes and estate planning, important questions, but today we're going to kind of have some fun here with our Making Money Manageable. We've got Peter Raber, president of AFI Advisors, back with us. Peter, thanks so much for hosting us.
No, thanks for coming back. These are definitely the more fun questions that they always come in at the end of a conversation, and you wish you had more time to talk about them, because they're really what's fun to talk about.
Well, and you know, you're exactly right, because when you sit down, it's like, oh, I just want to ask him, but I don't want to be that person that asks him that question. But these are some of the things that people wonder.
Right.
So we're going to address them, and we're going to start with the first question here, which is the difference between the bull and the bear market, and where that all came from. And you can read a lot about the bull and the bear.
Right, the bull and the bear are synonymous with Wall Street, and it's almost become just such an integral part of the conversation. We're in a bull market if it's going up, we're in a bear market if it's going down, but what does that even mean? We've got a big statue of a bull outside the exchange of Wall Street, and really there's probably two answers, but the primary one we talk about is a bull's horns go up when it's attacking, and a bear's claws swipe down when they're attacking. So that's really a lot of it. There's some thought process that it could have to do with bearskin traders back in colonial days, but it's more high, low.
High and low. So it doesn't have to do with the fierceness of the climb, the bear and the bull. It's
right.
more how they attack.
How they attack. The horns go up, the bear swipes down.
See, now you know, and you don't have to ask. All right, our next question, and this is something, you know, we all, I think about, you know, what if I won the lottery? What would I do? Would I do the big lump sum? Or would I take it over time? And you know, that's a question. I won't even buy a ticket, but I'm still thinking like, well, if I did win, what would I do?
You know, there's a math answer and there's a real world answer to this one. So the math would tell you take the lump sum up front. You can invest it yourself. You're going to pay a big tax bill, but you're going to have that money now so that you can stretch it out over your lifetime. But depending upon your personality type, that annuity payment could make sense, because you look at some of the stats and 70% of big lottery winners have spent it all in 5 years. So if you know at least another check's coming in year 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that might make some sense if you know that you're not going to have the willpower to spend it. But the math answer is take the lump sum, spend a little bit, have a little bit of fun, invest the rest for your future. But sometimes those annuity payments can make sense, but it's more personality driven than it's driven by, you know, the investment side.
So are you disciplined enough to not spend it all within that first 5 years?
Right.
And there are some really fun statistics that you and I were looking up when it comes to lottery winners. If you ever get a chance to do that, like you talked about, the 70% that spend it within 5 years.
70% spend it. You see a lot of things like 30% of people are going to gain weight. They've done these studies, and all of a sudden you're eating better, you're going out to eat, you're buying better types of food, and pretty much universally you're gaining weight if you've won the lottery, which maybe that isn't a bad thing either, but maybe hire that personal trainer with some of the winnings too.
Maybe that is a good idea.
Right.
Right. And our next question, which I love, can I buy life insurance on my ex-husband? Which actually is kind of, you know, we were joking about it, but for some people, that may actually make sense.
It actually can be really important, especially if, and you have to show that there's a financial reason for it. So nefarious reasons aside of why we would buy life insurance on someone, if you're dependent upon a former spouse for child support, for alimony, for an actual financial reason, and a lot of times you'll actually see this within divorce proceedings where they'll require a life insurance to cover that loss of income. Yes, you can buy, but they have to be aware, they have to do all the medical exams. And, you know, one thing that I would encourage people, if you are buying life insurance on an ex, make sure you're the owner of the policy and the beneficiary, because you don't want them to be able to make a change down the road if they're the owner. But yes, you can, and sometimes it's really important that you do so. But sometimes we just see it's like, I want benefit because, you know, if something happens to them, and without them actually consenting to it, you can't. But it can be a really important part of your financial planning. It secures those, you know, assets that are declared within a divorce.
Well, and especially if there are children involved, you could see how
Absolutely.
important that would be, and I would imagine in a lot of cases they would be okay with that. We
Right.
would work together to come
Right.
up with something like that.
You hope rationality prevails during a divorce, but that's not normally the first emotion that we describe
Yeah,
in
probably.
those, but you would hope so, especially when kids are involved.
Yep. All right, well, certainly some important information. We're going to have some fun. We've got 3 more fun questions coming up a little bit later on in our show. If you would like to learn more, you can always contact Peter and the other staff here at AFI Advisors. Again, their office right here in Colonial Heights. Check out the website for more information, afiadvisors.com.
The preceding portion of Daytime Tri-Cities is sponsored by AFI, your financial North Star.